My name is Junior Smart. I run the SOS Gangs project at St Giles Trust. It's a complete ex-offender led project. We provide support, training, advocacy to those that are caught up in negative cycles of behaviour. When I left school, I didn't have any GCSEs. I remember a teacher telling me that I was going to fail, and I was going to fail rather dramatically and graciously. And for some strange reason, after that, I just gave up trying. So the thing about road life is that it's kind of sticky. You know, often you can fall out with people and it ain't even nothing to do with you. Often you can have beef with people and it ain't even really your beef. The maddest thing about it is that I honestly thought I could dabble in that kind of world because there was elements about it that I liked. The fast cars, the women, having people around me, having, you know, a laugh and a joke and a drink with peers that thought that I was really cool and I was part of their clique. The problem was with that is that just by being around them, I became associated with things that were negative. And it wasn't, I honestly thought at the time, well, actually, I can do a little bit here, I can do a little bit there, and it will never get too much. But the problem with that kind of lifestyle is it just escalates. And I found myself, like, the situations were getting increasingly more heavy, they were getting more sticky, and ultimately that just led to me carrying out numerous offences. The thing was, it wasn't ever, when I think back on it, it wasn't ever the first time I did something that I got arrested. It wasn't the second time, it wasn't even the third time. I think it might have been the 10th time. But when I got caught, it was like I was charged for, it was like I'd been charged for every single bad thing that I did. And, you know, you can act as hard as you want, you can put on that bravado, you can have your screw face up or whatever, but when the judge told me, like, I'm sending you down for 12 years, like, literally that was the moment that my world kind of like fell apart. Being sent down and being arrested and being taken to court and being charged had a profound effect on my sisters. They didn't know what I was doing. They knew that I had a group of friends and whatever, but they never knew the extent. The police came to the house. It was very public in front of, you know, we lived on a road, you know, where there were loads of other people living, and they came through the house and they possibly saw her as a co-D or co-defendant. You know, they would have turned the house over. There's nothing that can explain to you what prison's actually like. It's nothing like what your peers are probably telling you. It's nothing like what you're probably reading in the newspapers, that it's a hotel, it's a holiday camp. It's absolutely nothing like that, because the prison cell is cold, hard, dank. It's like a jungle. When you're in prison, like, you don't know what's going to come around the corner. Everybody's got a screw face up, everyone's got something to prove, everyone's looking for a weakness. I'm not even going to lie to you, I've seen grown men cry in front of me, like big grown men, guys that on road, you know, you'd think that they were a gangster or they'd be they'd be G'd up, they'd be walking with big swagger. Like, I've seen grown men cry in front of me. There were three things that made me change. The first night that I was in custody, I kept asking people, you know, the police officer and whatever, was there any support for someone like me? Just to put it in context, I'd been arrested at 4 o'clock in the morning and I hadn't been interviewed until 7 o'clock at night. And all of that time I had no one to talk to, I had no support, I had no advice, and I couldn't believe that's exactly what happens. And when I spoke to the prison officer, he was sort of saying to me, well, you know, where you're going, they've got this Samaritans, they've got the listener scheme, you know, you can talk to them all day long. The second thing that really motivated me and changed me was not just seeing the impact on my family, but seeing the same young people come back into prison again and again. And thirdly, I suppose the thing that had the real impact on me is I was in a cell, and because there's nothing to do, I thought, you know what, I've never really read a book. Let me read a book from start to finish. And I read this book by Gandhi, and he said, like, when all hope is lost, when everything is taken away, like, be the change that you want to see in the world. And that, I suppose, really was the kick start for me. You know, the craziest thing about it is that, you know, of all the young people we work with, I've never come across one young person who hasn't got real skills or real abilities, real talents. But the reality is there's no shortcuts. Like, you reap exactly what you sow, and it is about, like, giving yourself every single opportunity you can in order to succeed and achieve in what you want. And I can absolutely guarantee you, from being on one side of the fence, of being a person who used to try to actually delivering on my project, and I just simply, all I had to say to myself was, like, I'm going to give this project everything I have, and the project has reaped rewards. And in all the years that I was running around on the street trying to build a name and build some sort of self-image and reputation, in the 7 years that I've been running the project, I've achieved far more by just helping others, by just applying my skills, by just sort of saying to myself, you know what, I'm going to give this thing 100%, than I ever did when I was on road. And so really, you've got to start looking after yourself, looking after, you know, watch your own back, and really think about what it is that you want to get from life, and go for it. But there's, like I said, there's no shortcuts, there's no easy ways out. It's just literally hard work and putting your head to it.